Hello, this is Hui. Welcome to watch my video C++ programming on Linux. In this short video, it's going to back and discuss MongoDB. There are a few videos before discussed how to install a MongoDB on Linux and using C++ program to connect query database collections. Recently, one of our viewers ArtsFileCar995 has wrote a feedback that during compile it got an error that get UTF-8 has deprecated and the solution is using document element get string instead. Back check the version of previous video was Mongo CXX R342. And the current C++ driver is Mongo CXX 3.10.2. Check the class, document, element, and get UTF-8. Get the UTF of the bstring type. This function has a deprecate using document element get string instead. We downloaded this new version, installed on Ubuntu Linux, and update previous example using get string instead of get UTF-8. And also, we are going to update MongoDB connection from no TLS to TLS. Here on our Debian Linux server, let's quick review previous videos example. On this server, let's check our MongoDB status. Currently, our MongoDB is inactive. We start our MongoDB. Let's check the status again. Now, our MongoDB is active. On this server, we installed Mongo CXX version R342. Our MongoDB server version is 4.2.24. This server, we have created database, test, the collection, player, 5 document, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gender, 1, 2, 3 male player, 2 female players. Go back to our C++ program directory. We have 2 C++ program called Mongo Connect, Mongo Query. For the Mongo Connect program, will be the connect to the MongoDB string is localhost 27017 and the database test collection player, and we find old document and we use bson cxx to JSON to print old document in our collections. For the Mongo query.cpp, we still connect to our MongoDB database test collection player. We put a filter gender equal male, and then we parse each document, get the element name, element gender, and the element level using get UTF-8 to convert this name to the string gender, and the string level, and we just print out the name, gender, and the level. So now we save, we compile our C++ program. Now program has been compiled. Executable, Mongo Connect, and the Mongo Query. First, you can see now we query our MongoDB, we find out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players. When we run Mongo Query, it will be only query the male player 1, 2, 3. Here on our Ubuntu Linux, the Mongo CXX driver version we download installed is 3.10.1. On this server, we copy the previous video's example, Mongo Connect.cpp, query.cpp, we make a small adjustment. Instead hard code the URI database and the collection, we get a URI database and the collection from the command line. URI from argument 1, database from argument 2, and the collection from argument 3. We use my collection find, get the cursor, and we use the bson cxx to JSON to print out. For the Mongo query.cpp, we make another adjustment, get a URI, database, collection, and query the gender from the command line. So we get a URI from argument 1, database from argument 2, collection from argument 3, query the gender from argument 4. And we using the collection find with the filter my document view to query the collection, and instead we using bson cxx to JSON to print all of them. We parse the element to the name, gender, and the level string. In previous video, we using the get UTF-8 to convert to the string. Document element, the get UTF-8. Since this method has been deprecated and suggests to use get string on the new version, we go back, change this using the get string to get the string view, str name, str gender, str level. Then we print out. We compile our program. Now program has been compiled. Executable, Mongo Connect, and Mongo Query. So our MongoDB is located on the Debian Linux IP address 10.0.124. Now we got the error, no suitable server found. Now let's go back to our Debian Linux IP address 10.0.0.124 to check our MongoDB status. MongoDB is active. And you can see by default, once you install the MongoDB, it can only listening the localhost port number 27017. In order to make a MongoDB is able to be accessed from another server, we have to modify the configure file, which is etc mongod.conf. And in this configure file, under net binding IP, currently we only have 127.0.0.1, which is only from localhost. So now we have to add 10.0.0.124. So now we save our configure file. We stop our MongoDB. We restart again. Now our MongoDB restart again. You can see our Mongo database starting listening localhost and our VH Debian host. So now this MongoDB is able to be accessed from another server. Back to our Ubuntu Linux again. Let's try again. Connect to our MongoDB on the Debian Linux database test collection player. Now you can see after we made adjustment, our Mongo database has been able to access from the application server. Now let's try Mongo Query, the usage. Mail. You can see we can find 3 mail in our collection. Female. We have 2 female in our collections. Before, our MongoDB and application located on same server, and the MongoDB can only be accessed from localhost. And now our MongoDB in one server, application in another server. date will be transmitted over network which date travel without encryption is be considered as not secure. Following example, we will discuss how to set and write a C++ program using TLS connection to MongoDB. Now we create a new C++ program. Mongo TLS connect.cpp, copy from mongo connect.cpp and update using TLS connection connect to our Mongo database. mongo connect.cpp. To use TLS connect to Mongo database, we need to add one more argument from command line. The new argument will be certificate. mongo cert.pm first URI equal. For no TLS connection, we can start a connect to my URI, but for using TLS, we have to add client options. If my URI TLS is true, it means we're using TLS connect to Mongo database. URI TLS is true. Declare TLS option. Then we start set up TLS options. First, set up TSL option CA file, certificate file from argument 2. And then we set up an option. Allow the invalid certificate to true. TLS option allowed invalid certificates default is false. It's enable or disable the validation check for TLS certificates on other server in the cluster and allow the use of invalid certificates to connect. This option is set true when using X509 on invalid certificate is only sufficient to establish a TLS connection but insufficient for authentications. Because in our demo, we are not using CA certified certificate, so we set up this true, just establish the TLS connection, but not for certificate authentications. There's other option you can set up is TLS allow connection without certificates. Default is false. If false, all client must provide client TLS certificates. If true, client don't need to provide client certificates, but MongoD and MongoS encrypt the TLS SSL connections. Client TLS options will be after we set the TLS option client with options. Database, argument 3, collection, argument 4. Then we query our collection, find the old document, then print out. We save our program. We compile our program. Now program has been compiled. This is our executable. To test our example, we need to set up our Mongo database. Back to our Debian Linux, where MongoDB has been installed, IP address 10.0.0.124. It's Debian Linux release 10. First, we need to create certificate. MongoDB requires CA certificate that is signed by certificate authorities. In this demo, we don't have CA certificate. We just use OpenSSL API to create a self-signed certificate. Command will be country, CA, province, Ontario, city, Toronto, organization unit, MongoDB server. So now we have created our certificate and our private key. To combine certificate and key into one files. We have 3 files: certificate, private key, and the combined private key and the certificate. Now we check our Mongo database status. Our Mongo database is active and the configure file is etc mongod.conf. Modify this configure file, add the TLS options. To set up MongoDB using TLS, we need to add TLS options. We need the model, certificate key files, and some others. The model has option disabled, allow TLS, prefer TLS, and require TLS. Under our net, TLS. Second parameter will be the certificate key file. Certificate key file is the PM file that contains both TLS certificate and key, which is a combined TLS certificate and key, which we have created just before under etc mongodb.pm. There's another parameter, TLS CA file. This is the PM file that contains root certificate chain from the certificate authorities. Since we don't have a CA certificate, so we don't add this parameter in our configure file, but we will add allow invalid certificate true. So now we save our configure file, restart our MongoDB. Now we restart our MongoDB after modified configure file, add the TLS options. Now we back our Ubuntu Linux IP address 10.0.0.191. We test our new application Mongo TLS Connect. The usage will be port number. In order to set URI TLS equal true, we need to use an option start with question mark. We copy the certificate from the Debian Linux mongodb.pem test player. You can see we're successfully connected to the MongoDB using TLS. If we try using our Mongo Connect without using TLS, you can see we got error, no suitable server found. Hello, thanks for watching my video. Wish it is useful. It's going to be great to have your feedback.